Hello everybody, and welcome to the finale of Let's Play Luigi's Mansion. Now that we have all 50 of the boos and all of the ghost portraits in store for us, I'd say it's time that we go unlock this final door with the gold key that we have with us. And we're going to go take on King Boo and save Mario. So I'd say we're very much prepared for this, and we'll finally get rid of this mansion once and for all. Man, it's been quite a journey here, hasn't it? Just in this whole mansion. I mean, you know, not really any other locations, just mansion itself. It's like, well, essentially a bottle episode. So let's open this door, and that'll take us to that room that we've actually seen before down in the well. But now, yeah, we're in the secret altar, so now we're actually going there in full. Hello there, King Boo. Your time has come, even though your time has already passed.
I could just stare at my Mario painting for hours. It's true what they say about fine art. It takes utterly refined sensibilities to truly appreciate it. The way you plead for help, Mario, I find it so satisfying. Perhaps that is merely because I remember how much trouble you've caused me in the past. Seriously though, who would actually believe that mansions get given away in contests? Talk about stupid. What do they feed you Mario Brothers anyway, gullible soup? Your brother came all this way just to get turned into a painting. It's just horrific. However, this Mario painting looks lonely. I must have a Luigi painting as well. Then my gallery will truly be complete. Bleh! I am not afraid of you, fool. I fear only that infernal poltergeist 3000 you carry on your back. Stupid machine. But I am a king among boos. I swear it. I shall fear no mere house-cleaning device. I must say, I despise the way you shweep, shloop, whoop, shloop, vacuumed up all my friends. Don't imagine that I'll flee. I'll fight you like a true boo. Now join your brother inside the painting.
Oh, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna... What the hell? Bowser? Oh, god damn, we're at the finale and already hijacked by Ganon? Or hijacked by Bowser in this case. So he was the enemy the whole time. He was the true main antagonist. Who would have thought? And he's gonna Kirby suck us up then, isn't he? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's taking a darker turn at Mario 64 here. Alright, so yeah, now we are at the top of the mansion. So yeah, I told you guys to remember that place because we were there before while searching for those, well, catching those Shy Guy, or Ghost guys. Well, we're here at the final battle because that's what it is. Alright, here he is. Here is the president. Well, soon to be former president because I hear he's retiring. That's soon anyway. He's gonna position his neck back up here. Alright, well, I guess here we have Bowser. I guess, you know, we thought we were gonna fight King Boo, but no, we're fighting Bowser. Okay, not exactly though. Well, we're gonna see in a minute here. So, for this final battle, we have to do just avoid his fire breath attack. Obviously enough, and then he's gonna make these, he's gonna summon these spike balls. You know, kind of like akin to Mario 64, except we're not really swinging by the tail. So shoot him over there, and booyah! And look at that! Wow, we actually literally just decapitate him, just like that here. So yeah, actually it wasn't really Bowser; it was just King Boo controlling this this Bowser model here. So once King Boo comes out, that's when you go ahead and suck him up here. So the one thing you have to be careful with though is that you know, as you do so, then the Bowser head will actually start floating around, and you'll shoot ice balls at you, which is kind of ironic because Bowser doesn't really do that though. The real Bowser doesn't do that, but yeah, you have to really be careful of those ice balls because those ice balls, they hurt. They really do. They'll take out quite a bit of HP from Luigi. So I recommend circling around like this right here so that way they can actually avoid them because Bowser will only shoot this. Well, the Bowser head will actually shoot those ice balls right where Luigi's standing. Now, the one good thing about it is that you see that that King Boo actually has, I think it was 500 HP if I probably saw it right. But as you suck him up, then his HP actually goes down real rapidly. So at least there's that, you know. So yeah, just rather speed the whole process. So what you want to do is that, you know, while you're holding that spike ball with the poltergeist, then as soon as Bowser will start breathing fire on you, that's when you go ahead and release it, and then that's when you knock Bowser's head clean off, just like that. And so, you know, then just do the whole rest of the process, and yeah, he's gonna go back into the suit itself. Now you can see that the Bowser head is actually positioned incorrectly, and so whenever that happens, then he'll start running all over the place and destroy those columns in the process, and then he'll actually turn his head back around too. So yeah, you want to avoid him while he's just aimlessly running around too. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that there's going to be any health stations at all, or any hearts that come out of those columns. It's just going to be poison mushrooms, so yeah, it's challenging in a way. It's going to be pretty tough. But I think this should be the last round before we suck him in there. Almost there pretty soon. And yes, there we go. All right. Wow, I actually finished this up pretty quickly there, didn't I? But we did it, guys. So now King Boo has been sucked up, and that Bowser suit is going to be is just going to collapse down. Might as well call it the Bowser suit anyway, though. I mean, well, very much different from the Bowser suits you get in Mario Party 3 anyway. And, no, Mario's asleep. Alright, another call from Egad again.
Luigi, you did it! Truly remarkable, my boy. I supplied the Poltergeist 3000, but you ran it with all the way to the top, Sonny. You made me so
Proud.
Get a hold of yourself, Gad. What's that? You found King Boo? He jumped into a painting of Bowser, you say? He even blew fire at you? Well, well, in all my years of ghost research, I've never heard such a fantastical tale. And that career spans 60 years, mind you. Why, I still recall starting out as a young whelp who trembled at the mere thought of a ghost. Trembled, I say! Oh, beg your pardon. This old brain goes away collecting every now and then. I could sit down and fill a week spinning ghost yarns. Why, just last... Right, well, anyway. Yeah, I was like, oh, shut the fuck up, Professor Egad. Alright, let's grab brother's painting and bring him back to the lab. The poor little feller's fallen asleep. He must have just collapsed with relief and exhaustion when he saw you arrive. I'll get the machine ready to return your brother to his former state, alrighty? I'll be expecting you both. Alright, so let's grab the painting there. Aw, it's a nice little music piece right here. As she goes, you know, show Luigi just going, yeah, don't worry, brother. Luigi's got you. Luigi's here. Alright, so we got the Mario painting back. Now, of course, before we go and actually just turn it back, this will mess with your head. All your hard work lasted only a single night. Yeah, it took place a single night. Wow. The mansion those boos built disappeared into the night, but that treasure seems to be real. I have no interest in such stuff, so go on and keep it all. Use it however you like. Say what? Enough rattling about money. I guess we better get your brother back then. Of course, your brother's really important, but first we have to take care of those last ghosts. And that we're gonna do, so yeah, despite the fact that the mansion itself actually isn't real and was actually created by the ghosts, the money that you collect itself, though, it's actually real themselves, though. So Luigi actually gets to keep the money and then just use it for something. And that's actually going to be part of that ranking system for the ending that we're going to see. And yeah, we have that Bowser head and King Boo just inside that inside the machine. And we'll just go ahead and take those last ghosts we have here. So I don't really get to show this at all. Well, I mean, I did show off the gallery release, but one thing I never mentioned is that those portrait ghosts, they're going to be sent right back over to the gallery. So if you actually do go to visit that place, you can actually take a look at the ghosts that you've captured, the portrait ghosts, and you get their info or their bios and all that, and just take a view. That last portrait of King Boo and the Bowser suit, it's actually located in the very last gold room. It's going to be placed right there, just, you know, for the sake of, you know, for quite achievement and all. So yeah, most of the portrait ghosts I have, most of them are bronze portrait ghosts because they're pretty challenging. So. We have his love of paintings here. Alright, so let's take a look at the ghosts for Area 4. So we have Uncle Grimly. We have Jarvis. And then Vincent Van Gogh. And Sue P. We have Clockwork Soldiers. Sir Weston. And King Boo. Plus the Bowser suit. Alright, so that's 23 ghosts. And then we're going to take a look at our totals. So we're going to take a look at the total number of money that I have here, and yeah, I think it was like, oh, okay, yeah, 73 million, so that's like not even anywhere near close to 100 million, so that's definitely a B rank.
Mamma mia. Oh, oh, oh,
I gotta say, that ending cutscene actually was pretty satisfying. I mean, you can actually see that, you know, Luigi is just, you know, overwhelmed with excitement, you know, just kind of laughing there. But you can actually see a tear coming down Luigi's eye. Shows that, you know, he's actually crying tears of joy or something like that. So, anyway, so, there we go. That was it, folks. That was Luigi's Mansion. And so, I gotta say, this game is such a great time. It really is. You know, it does everything right there. And, you know, and granted, it may be a short game and all that, though, but, you know, everything is very well done. And, you know, it's a lot of fun. And, it's just, kind of straightforward. It's very much straightforward here. And everything is just as it should be with the way it's designed and all that. It is definitely, without a doubt, a very well-designed game. And, I'm so glad that I managed to actually pick up this game and play it for myself. And, and even to this day, and just going back to playing this game again for the Let's Play, I've had such a great time with this game here. And so, for a launch title, I'd say this game is very well done. And, kudos to all the developers of Nintendo for this game. And, they want to make, and it looks like they actually want to make this ambitious to make this a launch title for the GameCube. And then when it got released as well. And I gotta say, it very much deserved all the praise that it's gonna get. And, and one thing that's really great about this game is, is actually, giving great characterization for Luigi and, making him a lot more likable and somebody you can relate to. Because, especially back then with, with Luigi previously being portrayed as a player too, especially for the earlier days, but, they actually wanted to make Luigi feel like a distinct character besides just being player 2. Just give him more cowardly personality and, and somebody to relate for. And, I know Mario doesn't really have much going for it, though, him having a personality of a cardboard box, though. But with Luigi, though, then, everything about him just makes him so endearing to the whole casting, and something that... And somebody who, actually gets, good characterization and all that. And that's what they really do a good job at. And going to where I was saying about how, Luigi would sound terrifying when he gets low in health, and I want to say that really is a good voice performance for Charles Martinet. He did such a good job, and and they do such a good job with this game too. Alright, so I think this is going to take us to the last screen. And so the matter of the ghost was settled. Professor Egad was so delighted to have all of his paintings returned that he used the treasure Luigi had found to build a new house. Alright, so this is actually what it's going to look like depending on the rankings. And there we go. So this is actually the B rank mansion, which actually it's good. It's a good kind of performance there that I did. For the A rank, that actually does become a mansion, but it's a pretty good looking house for a B rank, and so I'd say it's still a good job overall. And you actually get to see this in the gallery too. So yeah, that's actually the amount of gold. But yeah, this is actually what your grading is going to be like, depending on how well you do, or depending on however much money that you collect throughout the game. So if you actually manage to get like about 120 million, then you'll be able to get the A rank for this mansion. I think it's like 120 million. The worst rank you can ever get is that you just get a 10. So if you don't collect any money at all, though, then yeah, you just get a 10, or just get very little money. But at the very least, you'll be collecting a lot of money, though, and so it's impossible actually to just get a 10, though. So anyway, but yeah, back to my thoughts here. Yeah, I will say though, I've been having such a great time playing this game though, and it's very well done and all that. Everything is just as it should be. For a simple, straightforward adventure though, but it's definitely one of those feel right games and all that. Just going back to playing this game, everything really does feel satisfying, and I would say very well done for Nintendo. It's such a fantastic game, and and to those of you who haven't already, if you already have a GameCube and you haven't played the game, I would definitely recommend this game. And I think you're gonna have a great time with this one, with with how well done and very well designed that it is. And honestly though, like, the only real complaint that I have with Luigi's Mansion is that, sometimes when it comes to catching boos, like, overall, catching boos isn't so bad though, and the last 10 of the ghosts can get really tedious, especially going back and forth and with the high HP. Now, granted though, they're all entirely optional though. You don't really have to get those boos, so aside from those, and it's just, just straightforward like that though, but if you're going after those last 10 boos, then yeah, it can get really tedious, and, and it can be a bit of a pain, especially with having to do the constant back and forth, and also for the fact that, sometimes when Luigi will stop in place when he gets scared, and that can be a little bit distracting. But, it makes sense at the very same time, though, because he's supposed to be scared of the ghost coming up, though. But other than that, though, gameplay-wise, mechanically speaking, it really does a real great job, with the whole poltergeist mechanic, though, and just vacuum of the boos, and, it's really well done here, and, I'd say they do such a good job with it. Gameplay is just, as it should be, and it's just overall a great game that there is. Not exactly perfect, I would say. I mean, no game is perfect and all that, but, but it's a great time overall. It's such a fantastic game. I really enjoyed this one, and something I can always go back to as well. So, again, if you haven't already, I would say, you should definitely pick up this game for yourself and, add it to your collection of GameCube titles, because, it's definitely very ambitious, and, and I would say, you're going to have such a great time playing this game if you haven't already. So I know that, and I'm only playing the raw GameCube version itself, though, even though, even though they did announce the game for the NSO on the Switch 2 with the GameCube app. But at the time of this Let's Play, they still have not released it though, and it's not going to be for, well, maybe it's going to be, it's going to come out, like, not too long from now, though, but when it does come out, then if you already have the GameCube app for the NSO, if you have the subscription for it, and with a Nintendo Switch 2, then I would say go for that game as well. There's also the 3DS version that you can play as well, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same game overall, and, and I probably should play it myself, though, if I actually really did enjoy this game very much, though. So, and that's something I'll get to as well. I do hear that's not quite as charming though, but that's probably from a visual standpoint though. So if you have a 3DS, then I would say you can play the 3DS version as well though. I haven't played that version myself, so I got to pick it up at some point. It's just there's been so many other games that that's been like in the backlog, and there's just like a lot of other games coming out though. But I'll get to it eventually, and just see what that one's like though. But but there's that as well. But yeah. But like I said, it's going to be out for the NSO, so there'll be a chance to play that as well. But if you already have a GameCube, if you haven't played it, then again, I would definitely recommend this game. And it's so weird that despite the fact that it's already that's such a fantastic game, we wouldn't really get a sequel to Luigi's Mansion until I would say until about over a decade later, where we got Dark Moon for the 3DS. Which I mean, it's still a good time overall, but it also does feel pretty long, especially with certain stages though. And it doesn't really give off as the whole creepiness vibe for Luigi's Mansion. Because that's one thing I really do praise the game for, is the whole creepiness vibe and all that. It actually feels, it feels very foreboding and haunting as well. It actually really does do a great job of the atmosphere. And I'd say, Nintendo did very well with that one, though. Despite the fact that it's supposed to be a Mario game and, already does feel creepy. So kudos to that one as well. So yeah. But overall, I would say fantastic game, and I'm glad I actually got to play this game, and especially good timing as well. Playing this close to October, and it's already October by the time of this video, so good timing for Halloween and all that. Am I right? So yeah, if we were to go back to Luigi's Mansion series again, then of course the next game I would do is definitely Dark Moon, which probably not gonna be for a long time though, because by the time I actually get to the 3DS games, then then Dark Moon would definitely be among those, and so yeah, I'll definitely get to doing a Let's Play at Dark Moon, but that's not gonna be for a very long time though. But if we ever do go back to the Mario universe, I would say the next one is well, I know you guys have been waiting for this, Super Mario Sunshine, and I know it's gonna be so weird because the last 3D Mario game I did was Mario 64. And that's gonna be like almost a decade ago, like by the time that this channel started, and I haven't really done so much of it though. And I've been delaying a lot of Let's Plays though, but that's not going to be the next Let's Play I'll do though, but it's going to be pretty soon for the next Mario game, is that where we're going to be doing Sunshine, and I know you guys have probably been waiting for that to come up though, so that's definitely going to be the next one too. Even though, despite the fact that the last Mario game I did was, was just for the marathon of the classic Mario games. But yeah, Sunshine will be up next for the next Mario game I'm going to be going for, and I know you guys have been waiting long enough since Mario 64, so yep, that's definitely going to come. So, anyways, with all that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in with this game, and for this great spooky adventure that we have though for the month of Halloween, and for for Halloween coming up here, and it's been a nice ride and all that, and so yeah. So, yeah, again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys for the next Let's Play. So, stay tuned. Until next time.